I was asking you, like, how does Joulebody fit in your life?
If I went into a supermarket and picked up a Joulebody bar versus Gatorade protein bar, instantly the ingredients are gonna stand out. I think the way that seed oils are manufactured, more in line with industrial toxins than they are food products.
Here I am sitting with you, a man, an athletic man in his 30s. I'm a menopausal woman in my 50s, and yet Joulebody is meeting both of our needs in our lifestyle. 2 months, I started getting calls from people like, oh my God, my bar has mold, my bar has mold. I was like, oh no. Shit. But what I could say is we give your body the nutrition it needs when it needs it. Having a conversation about how we integrate Joulebody into our lives. And I think it's a great way to share how it's not about your gender, it's not about your age, it's really about why do you want to add this into your life? How do you add it into your life? I was asking you, like, how does Joulebody fit in your life?
Yeah, and I think for me, it's kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it's perfect timing to find this product. I think like a lot of the products on the shelves are just crap, horrible ingredients, preservatives, seed oils. I think I've done a fair bit of research over the years on seed oils and the dangers of, not dangers, but like long-term negative effects of certain ingredients. One of my friends actually texted me today. He's a youth baseball coach. He's like, had a conversation with the team about health and nutrition today. He's like, pretty much seed oils are the devil. And I said, I've been preaching it for years. Like I've been saying that for at least like 6 years now. I read a book on it, kind of introducing the idea of it, and then I kind of dove down the rabbit hole of studies and wanted to know like what are the negative effects, why are they so bad, and kind of took a conscious decision to eliminate them. I think that's kind of evolved over time and kind of ebbed and flowed. There were certain things, I would just eat. I don't think my diet right now is in a great place, but hasn't been like that the whole time. I think the Joulebody product is like everything I'm looking for in terms of ingredients. So if I went into a supermarket and picked up a Joulebody bar versus, a Gatorade protein bar or whatever, you name it, instantly the ingredients they're just gonna stand out to me. Just because I feel like I'm educated enough to know what's good and what's bad. I think a lot of those bars, I wouldn't even be able to pronounce the ingredients, which is usually a good sign, a good indicator if it's healthy or not. Yeah, so I've been intermittent fasting. My diet's as locked in as ever.
All right, I want you to really go into the intermittent fasting. What you didn't know is that when I started creating these bars, it had a lot to do with my clients were breaking their fast by drinking, a sugary smoothie or eating crappy food. And it was like, this is an optimal opportunity for you to like put those major nutrients into your body system because you did the intermittent fasting, which allowed your insulin to regulate itself. It gave your liver a little bit of a break. So whatever you put into your body, it had an opportunity to really absorb it, right? So I want to hear, like when you said, when I asked you, like, how do you integrate Joulebody into your life? And you were like, oh, I have it after intermittent fasting. So tell me, I want to hear about that.
So I usually stop eating at like 8:30, the latest. I try and eat before then at night. Last night I had a basketball game at 8:40, so I had dinner before that. I did have just a little protein shake after, which is typically later than I want to have any calories, but running up and down for a while, so I kind of pushed that deadline back a little last night, closer to 9:45. But today, so a normal day, I usually eat my first meal around 11:30, and I usually try and get my workout in right before that. So I like to eat usually right after I work out. Today was a little bit different. I got to the gym at 5 a.m., did a couple hours of work on my laptop, then started stretching, worked out, got a great lift in, and then I wanted to get on the move and get here, beat some traffic, so I just grabbed a bar at the house because it was still like 10:30, 10:15. So I was like, I know I'm gonna need to eat around 11:30.
Right.
I know I'm gonna probably be in traffic.
Right.
Grabbed an acai hibiscus bar, threw it in my backpack, and grabbed a paper towel, and then ate it in the Uber at 11:30. But it was like I think the product itself is kind of everything I'm looking for in my diet, which is just focuses on the macros, so high protein, moderate carbs, moderate fat, and I adjust based on whether it's a training day or not. But like it's, it has high protein, high fiber, substantial carbs.
And minerals, you see, that's the key thing. So when you're thinking of electrolytes, when I was developing these bars, I was a personal trainer at Equinox, and I used to train triathletes. Like I was a trainer that made my clients throw up. In hindsight, I was a little bit too rough, but I was that trainer. And so, when you exude that much, like when you are using up that much energy, your cravings, especially for things like sugar and caffeine, get heightened. So I was trying to figure out, I was developing these bars because I wanted my clients to have something post their workouts. And I was thinking electrolytes. Right now, we're talking about back in 2000, 2003.
Wow.
Gatorade was still something that people used when they wanted to replenish electrolytes. Coconut water wasn't really a thing yet. It was coming into play. So when coconut water came in, we started using coconut water instead of the Gatorade thing. But for me, it was like electrolytes, minerals. If my clients are working out and they're sweating and they're releasing all of those minerals, they need to replenish those electrolytes, right? So when I started looking at the ingredient nutritional panel, for me it was like, okay, how can I get manganese, zinc, magnesium, copper, like all of these minerals that you don't really get in a regular diet. And I think you and I were just talking, I am more of a carnivore. That's basically my diet is either, animal protein, fish, or I'll eat Joulebody to help me supplement fiber. So it's interesting, again, what you're saying, you're looking for the protein, the macronutrients, low carbs. We do have a good amount of fat because the fat is coming from the coconut oil, MCT oil. So it's a combination of coconut MCT oil, but it also, the seeds offer a lot of fat.
Yeah.
But it's the omegas that your body actually needs, your brain actually needs,
right.
Your muscles need. So we do, when you look at it, you might be surprised. The other thing that
often gets a bad rap too.
Yes. Oh, I always have, and that's why Joulebody requires education, because people still look at nutrition and think protein, carbs, sugar, and then some people are afraid if they see too much fiber, they think, that's going to make me bloated or I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. The way I combine these ingredients, it's not going to make you feel bloated. It's not going to, because of the high amount of fiber, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to go to the bathroom. It's just the right combination of nutrients. When I develop it, like I said, I was thinking of my moms, my postnatal moms. I was thinking of my male athletes and how can I create something. And I love that here I am sitting with you, an athletic man in his 30s. I'm a menopausal woman in my 50s. And yet Joulebody is meeting both of our needs in our lifestyle.
It's amazing. And I mean, I wouldn't have thought, I guess I'm just so trained, on my routine and my nutrition. I don't think I would have, walked into a CVS ever really and bought a nutrition bar at a choice. But if Joulebody's an option, I would for sure. And even if it, is priced a little bit higher than the other ones on the shelves, it's well worth it because it's not, that poison that the other.
Well, I want to share with that. So when I was also developing the bar, in the beginning for me, it was about finding the ingredients, making sure they were organic, but I wasn't thinking about where the ingredients were coming from, right? As long as they were organic and they were the ingredient I was looking for. Then as years have gone by, so I started development of these bars in 2009. 2011 was the first time I launched the bars. We've got back and forth to redeveloping the formulation based on focus groups, based on feedback, and even still, we just finished the last round of modifications, hopefully, where we grinded up all the seeds. Because you even called me the other day, like, I have one issue. I have seeds in my teeth. So we've now grinded up all of the seeds. But when you're looking at the ingredients, if I were to get my ingredients from China, which you can get all of these ingredients from China, we have no idea where they're being made. They could be made in a factory. They could be made in like a really, even if it's organic, in a really pollutant area.
Right.
So what I started to do 2 years ago is actually talk to either directly with the growers or the brokers that dealt with the growers, learning about their farming, learning about, trying to get as many ingredients as we can from regenerative soil, which offers more in the microbiota.
Right.
However, that causes the price to be higher. So what I decided when I started doing this is that maybe I'm not a product for the masses. Maybe it is a product for the people who genuinely care about what they're putting into their body, and they're willing to pay that extra dollar to make sure that they're taking a brand that they can trust has done the research for them.
Right. And I'm hopeful that, there's more information being shared on kind of the negatives and the bad products that are out there and the products that use, harmful ingredients.
Look at that soda, that probiotic soda. What is it called? It just got recalled because...
Is it Poppy?
Yes.
Wow. I saw Bonza. Do you know Bonza?
Mm-hmm.
Recalled glyphosate.
Yes.
Which is the worst thing you can have.
Yes.
Weed killer.
Well, that has glyphosate, and the soda, the probiotic soda has PFAs, which is forever lives in your body.
Right, forever chemicals.
And you're like, and I said this to my husband last night. I said, I know that my bar is priced a little bit higher. My products are all priced a little bit higher, but I genuinely,
right.
We speak to the people that are growing these ingredients,
right,
and learn what are their farming practices.
Yeah. So I hope these things are kind of wake-up calls for people. Like the Bonza one was crazy because that's something like I'm investing in thinking that it's healthier for me.
Chickpea pasta.
Right.
Right.
And then this comes out and it's like, all right, well, that's crazy. But I think getting the text from my buddy today is kind of like gives me some hope that people are starting to learn, because I had been telling him about it for 6 years. He didn't listen. But now it's like he's aware enough to now tell his team and tell me about it. Right. So it's like, all right, at least.
Right. I want to ask you, so when you talk about seed oil, what is it that you've understood about how it affects the body?
Very detrimental on longevity. I think the way that seed oils are manufactured are more in line with industrial toxins than they are food products. So I think the regulations and I watched a video once that showed the seed oils being made, like the process of it, mm-hmm. and like the color at the end is just disgusting. Mm-hmm. And then they bleach it mm-hmm. to make it clear. So like that is just a complete turn off for me. I don't know like the ins and outs of, specific harms, but I think longevity, like brain function, I think for me, even like last year, I was kind of not in tune with my diet as I would hope to be. So I was eating chips here and there and Doritos and ordering subs from the sub place, and the bread is just huge. So bread is just a ton of sugar and oil, and they put those things in it to make it taste good and last longer on the shelf. But in terms of our, biological DNA, that stuff is not beneficial, and it's new age in terms of what our ancestors were eating, mm-hmm. which was raw, whole foods. Mm-hmm. And this is just kind of an industrial liquid. Mm-hmm. That's horrible.
It's foreign to the body. So what happens is if you see Ozempic, right? Ozempic comes out and everyone's on the bandwagon of Ozempic because what Ozempic is doing is basically helping to regulate your insulin. what these seed oils do is it basically burdens your insulin and causes your liver to have to break all of this crap that isn't real food down. It's not able to. And so now your insulin and your liver is backed up. And if it can't process it, what is it going to do? It's going to dump it through the body. And what we call it, it's like free radicals, right? It's just toxins that now become free radicals in our body systems. And if the body is overloaded with free radicals, your mitochondria, do you remember what mitochondria is? It's the powerhouse of your cells.
Right.
So your mitochondria, then when you talk about longevity, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about like your mitochondria's ability to be able to keep rejuvenating your cells and keep you optimally in your health and your systems, your body's organs functioning. So seed oils jacks up the insulin, jacks up the liver, stops the body's ability to detoxify, causing those free radicals to linger around in our body. And then that's when you start to feel, weighted down. People who assume that diabetes is people who are overweight. No. You can be super skinny and get diabetes.
But then the seed oils also make you crave more of them.
100. Well, because your insulin isn't letting your brain know we're good.
Right.
We've eaten because it's not able to function properly. So there you go. You need to. This is why when we eat processed foods, we get hungry again.
Right.
Because the body basically said, "Oh, all right, thanks for that, but it wasn't what we needed. So we need you to give us more."
Yeah, I could have eaten 3 bags of those Doritos last fall. But it is. It's like once you start eating them, and it doesn't like. You taste a Dorito, it's not like real. Like it doesn't taste like real food. It's
Cheetos. I mean, people are on the bandwagon of Cheetos. So when it goes back to when I developed Joulebody, I didn't have one single population in mind. My population was people who genuinely cared about their health. Right? I didn't think of like. This is going to be directed toward women, toward men, or anything like that. For me, it was like, this is directed toward people who genuinely care about what they put into their body. And it's the most saturated in the CPG space. It's the most saturated space, right?
Yeah.
Like how many bars are out there? You mentioned Gatorade bars, right? And there's so many bars that how does Joulebody stand out? Like, how do we sit on a shelf and you choose a chocolate covered nut bar over my bar?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think would help people understand that they would get more from eating my bar than a chocolate covered nut bar?
Well, I think people need to make the decision for themselves that what they're putting into their body directly affects their health and future health. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people don't think like that, or just kind of, I'll diet down the line and figure it out. I'll get in shape later. But I think really, I think it's education. I think if people were more informed on the dangers and the effects of continually eating these things, I think if there was more light on that, then people might choose that more often.
Yeah.
But I think they kind of just need to.
How about if you understood that food you eat isn't just affecting your health, it's affecting your hormones, which then affects your moods, your sleep, your sex, your libido.
Yeah.
It's like, why did I add flaxseed, hemp seed, pumpkin seeds? Those seeds allows your body to detoxify estrogen. Men are they're overloaded with estrogen, causing men to become more sensitive, to have less libido, lower sperm count, boobs, gut, all of these things, because men, even though you have estrogen, very little of it, right?
Right.
But environmentally, we're giving you so much estrogen, your body needs to detox that estrogen. So again, it goes like the development of this bar. What was I thinking about? Detoxification. I wanted you to be able to do your intermittent fasting, continue the detoxification process by incorporating this bar, letting your body then go through, so it goes through 4 phases of detoxification, get rid of that estrogen that your body does not need, and now you're helping your sleep, your libido, your gut, your fat around your gut line.
Yeah, and I'm getting all the macronutrients that I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I added maca and cacao to it too. I mean, maca was really important. Maca isn't the best tasting. I don't know if you've ever tasted maca.
Is it bitter?
I'll give you some maca, but maca isn't the best tasting. But the amount of studies, the ancient nutrients, it was used in Peru for libido, to help stimulate higher sex drive in men and women. And so I added maca into the bars for that reason. Cacao, we know that cacao is, it's a superfood that targets the circulation of the blood, and so that's why we call it heart-centered superfood. So again, it's like helping that blood to circulate through your body. Imagine if you're working out and your blood isn't flowing through your body because it's so thick from seed oils.
Yeah.
It's so thick it just can't flow through your body. So cacao helps to cleanse out your blood so that it flows easily, and it gets to those targeted muscles that you're using easier.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a lot.
I didn't even know all that. Like, and you mentioned the minerals, which I didn't even put 2 and 2 together on that, but that makes a ton of sense.
Electrolytes, yeah.
And I think the American diet overall is losing a ton of minerals. And the way farming is being done currently doesn't help that.
Right. That's what the regenerative.
I started drinking the teas, and I hadn't drank tea in a while, but I grew up drinking tea. My grandmother would always babysit us after school. One of my go-to snacks was hot tea with graham crackers, and I would dip the graham crackers in the tea. But my grandmother was a big tea drinker, never drank coffee. So I drank it kind of growing up, but then stopped for a while as an adult. My coffee journey is a whole nother episode that we can film at some point. But when I tried these teas, it was delicious. Like, I don't know. Like, I have set times where I'm going to eat, and then like having the tea, going back to my desk after eating was like, it made doing my work more enjoyable almost. Just having that to sip on. We like to keep it cool in the apartment at night. So it's like 68, 67 in there.
Oh, wow.
But it was just like, it's kind of like a zen experience, sipping the tea, working. So I guess that was kind of something I missed and have now started to appreciate more. I've been incorporating the nighttime tea into my routine the most. One day last week I did the Good Morning Cascara tea in the morning before my coffee, which I liked. So I'm experimenting with them, but I've really enjoyed them all, and I think the adaptogen experience is held true, at least for me. I think it just kind of helps me vibe with what I'm doing. And it's a relaxing way to kind of set my headspace and get in the zone.
I love that for you. It's the nostalgia, obviously, of having experienced that as a child from grandma, right? And it's like when we think about healing remedies, we do think about grandma, right? We think because that's the reputation that she's had.
Yeah.
And when I formulated the teas, I was looking at different herbs that would be put into the body and offer the body system something, right? Whether it was better energy, detoxification, helping to ease, the stress levels, or helping you to sleep and relaxation. The Cascara, so I had formulated the Cascara bar, And the Cascara came because of the amount of research that had come in. It was added to the superfood group a few years ago because studies kept coming up. They didn't know what to do with the cherry fruit of coffee. And then when they started researching it in labs, they realized, it is actually a really great gut health option.
Wow.
It has 30% of your daily iron intake. Again, we talk about minerals. People underestimate the value of minerals. And it offers iron. It offers good microbiota. So it helps your release a lot of the toxins that are inside of the gut. And even though it is acidic, there is a difference. So coffee, for instance, coffee is very acidic, and coffee will deplete your body of minerals. And that has a lot to do with even water, right? If we're drinking certain kinds of water, it is actually going to take the minerals out of your body. It's actually not replenishing. I just learned that if you drink water and then have to pee, that means your body didn't use the water that you put into your system.
Interesting.
And again, what helps your body to take in that water, absorb it, use what it needs to, and then release it? The minerals, and then the estrogen detoxification. So when you are detoxing estrogen, you're peeing or pooping. That's how you get rid of it. So anyway, back to Cascara. After learning about the value that it had in gut health and minerals, I had to create a tea with Cascara. And when I sourced it from third generation El Salvadorian women-run farm. Spoke directly to her, and so I had to take it out of the bar because we are organic certified now, and you can't really get Cascara organic, but at least I have it in the tea.
Yes.
I'm glad you're learning how to integrate it, because even though it's acidic, it's not half as acidic as coffee. It offers low levels of caffeine, so it doesn't give you a jolt. But because of the iron, it does help with energy. And so, like you said, like for you, there's that emotional connection that you're having. Herbs is one of the easiest ways for us to provide our body support in health.
Ancient remedies, right?
Ancient remedies, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that I believe is good for us.
You said it when we started. We have to go back to just eating plants, eating natural, right? It's like
we can create all this stuff, but where's it made?
Yeah.
In the factory in China?
Yeah.
Is that what we want to be consuming?
Yeah. I loved watching us making the bars. I loved watching take actual pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds and hemp seeds and flax seeds, and we mix it all up, and then add in the oils, add in the dates, and the tapioca is the most processed that we have in there, and it's the cascava. The reason why I put tapioca in it is because we need a binder. Right. And also tapioca helps to preserve the ingredients so they don't end up becoming rancid or getting mold. So there is a science behind it. When I first developed Joulebody, I didn't know that there was a science behind when you put certain ingredients together, they may not play well together.
Right.
And so we sold, originally when I created these bars, we sold out. We were just banging out. Within 2 months, I started getting calls from people oh my God, my bar has mold. I was like, oh no. Shit. So it was great because it was in Tribeca, Manhattan. So it was people who knew me, people I had no problem taking the bars back. People were really kind about it because they knew that I was just developing this. It was new.
Right.
So when we went back to formulation, I hired a scientist, a food scientist, who then helped us. And dates and raisins, mold don't like dates and raisins. Good. So that's when we were all right, so we'll use dates as the basically to preserve it, and then we use the tapioca to help bind it.
Amazing. It was a good learning experience too. Figured it out how to get that mold off the bars.
Yeah.
I love them. I love the bars.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's why I'm so psyched that we're partnered. Like,
Yeah.
you think of, you in your 30s as an athletic man, me in my 50s as a menopausal woman. It's like, to think that we can both sit here and say this product is actually benefiting our lives. And, Nugo Bar has the greatest saying, nutrition on the go. And so I can't take theirs, but what I could say is we give your body the nutrition it needs when it needs it.
Yeah.
And I'm usually on the go. You're usually on the go.
Yep. That's true. I thought of one in the barber chair today. It's a little slogan. Glow within. I don't know if that's taken.
I don't know either.
We gotta look into
it. Especially with the acai bar, because the acai bar is the latest formulation. And the reason why I wanted to develop the acai bar is because everyone was on this collagen bandwagon, right?
Yep.
And I wanted to figure out, well, how can I use this trend of collagen and create something that was on the go? I don't have a problem eating animal products, but I source it. I get it directly from farms, and so. But in collagen, you can only get collagen from animals. How could I create something that had similar effects of collagen? I started studying acai, hibiscus, cacao, combining all of that with the MCT coconut oil actually helps with collagen production.
Wow.
So when you say glow within, the acai bar would probably be a good one.
Glow within. Yeah.
There you go.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah.